Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Serrano. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. And today we're going to talk about the BlackBerry Passport, which was released in 2014 in September. Now, this thing did sport a 4.5-inch screen with 1440 x 1440 pixels with the QWERTY keyboard, aluminum frame, plastic back, but it did feel like it was leather. It just had a really nice functionality with the keyboard. Most of the tasks you do on the screen you can scroll with the keyboard, and I was able to download a ton of different apps from the Play Store. Once I downloaded the Play Store on here, then I got Google Chrome. I was able to, pretty much do everything that I normally do on my daily drivers, which are basically Android devices. So this thing pretty much could do everything that I normally do on an Android device, and it had 3 gigabytes of RAM, a Snapdragon 801, 32 gigabytes of internal storage, a 13 megapixel rear camera, 2 megapixel on the front, 3450 milliamp hour battery. No one in New York City these days in 2019 you'll ever see with like BlackBerry, which is unfortunate unless it's like a key 1 or a key 2, but I haven't really seen anybody like in New York. I'm always commuting, looking at people's drivers, and this QWERTY keyboard is one of the real reasons why this thing is definitely a standout for me in 2019. Now this thing does have 1:1 ratio, 453 pixels per inch density, Corning Gorilla Glass 3. It runs the BlackBerry OS 10.3. It's upgradable to the 10.3.2. You also get a Qualcomm MSM 8974 AA Snapdragon 801. You do get the quad core 2.26 gigahertz Crate 400. The GPU is the Adreno 330. You do get expandable storage with the SD card slot up to 256 gigabytes, and you do get the 2.0 aperture on the 13 megapixel camera. Now it also does support OIS, which is definitely pretty cool. You do get HDR panorama, 1080 60 by frames per second. The 2 megapixel is a wide camera. It does support 720p videos, and this thing does have 4.0 Bluetooth. So I was able to do like social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything like that. And I could definitely like watch people's stories and videos that they actually posted, which is one of the really important things for me, just keeping up with people, friends, and associates. And I definitely think that was pretty cool. Now, one of the things that I wasn't able to get on this device was YouTube Studio, but only times like somebody would need that app is if they're an actual YouTuber. So like everything was really nice on this device, especially with those dual speakers down at the bottom. When I was listening to content, I noticed that I could just listen to this thing with it on the sink while I was in the shower, and it would the sound actually propelled over top of the water from the shower, so it was definitely loud enough, and I was impressed with the overall sound speakers. So it definitely was a really good thing. I saw on Amazon that you can get this thing as low as $140, but if you look other places like eBay, or I don't know, I never use eBay, but I use like Amazon because I'm an affiliate there, and I also use other sites like AliExpress, Walmart. I got this from Walmart, and it was definitely a really good price. So I'll definitely leave a link if you're down below if you're interested in getting this at the lowest price. I'll find the lowest link on Amazon. But this thing does have stereo speakers, has a really nice camera. As you can see right here, we're just checking out some nighttime footage on the 13 megapixel single camera, 1080 by 60 frames per second. I definitely thought like the stabilization was good. Everything was like really nice. The colors definitely looked realistic. It wasn't too like grainy or anything like that. There was a little grain, but it definitely was suitable, especially for a phone that you could use for under $200 when you buy it from a decent for a decent price in 2019. But you can see right here, I was walking across the bridge on New York City. I think this was like the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge or something. But then you can see like the photos came out really crispy. I didn't have any issues when it came to the cameras. I definitely was impressed with that 13 megapixel camera on the back, which definitely captured some really good shots, really good moments. Now the 2 megapixel leave a little bit to be desired, but I definitely thought I was capturing some really cool memories when it came to the the 13 megapixel camera. Now let's just take a look at some of the gameplay. And you can definitely play a lot of games on this device. I noticed that most of the games that I was downloading, which were over 1,000 gigs, or actually 1 gig, anything over that, like pretty much didn't actually work or anything like that. So this game was definitely pretty cool. This was one of the games I used to play back in the day when I first started getting into gaming on phones, and this was one of my favorite games of all time, CS Portable. um, and it definitely was really cool on this device. I was able to like have a really good time using this game. It felt like a little Game Boy because of how it was set up with the square feel in the hand, so it kind of gave it like that retro feel. It definitely kind of just made it like a whole different experience from like the candy bar style. So I definitely thought this was pretty cool to game on. When it came to like a shooter, like a first person shooter like this one, which is definitely really fun. You can see I'm catching a few headshots, and I didn't have any problems when it came to the touch responsiveness. Everything seemed to be working perfectly fine when it came to like moving around. Aiming was really easy to get around the like navigate and stuff like that. So honestly can say that I did have a good time when it came to the gaming on the BlackBerry Passport. Now this version of the BlackBerry Passport is from AT&T. You can get it directly from Amazon. It's the SQW100-3 GSM 4G LTE smartphone, which is unlocked, and it's really cool. It has a really nice square form factor, and it's definitely a phone that actually surprised me. I didn't think it was going to be like this fun to use, but it's definitely a breath of fresh air. If you're like a beginner and like you don't really know how to figure things out by Googling it on YouTube and Google and finding out the answers to your questions on your own, I wouldn't recommend this phone for you. You definitely have to, mess around with some of the settings and just kind of play around with how to get certain things done on this device. Also, this device is a lot geared toward people who are business minded, who check a lot of emails and send out a lot of messages. So, I could definitely say that if you're just like using a phone just for gaming and you're not really checking email or anything like that of that nature, I would definitely not recommend you get this device. You probably just should check out like maybe like an Android or maybe even like an Apple device. But this device definitely is more geared toward the business minded people. But if you were to get this device, you would definitely have to figure out like how to download the Play Store on your own, like I did. If like at least 5 people say how do you download the Play Store in this video, maybe I'll do a video on that. But there's definitely already like videos out there, and that's how I actually figured it out. I watched the video on how to download the Play Store and everything like that. So it was pretty simple. I just figured it out, and then I just followed the instructions. But you could definitely have a good time with this device. Now one of the things that I noticed with the battery was that the battery wasn't like the best like ever in the world. It was the 3450, which actually sounds really nice. But yeah, I did enjoy, like I got from when I left my house at like 10:30 a.m. I got to about 5 o'clock p.m. and I was actually listening to music, watching YouTube, and text messaging and like everything like that straight through. And I think I had the YouTube on like the whole time, even in like the subway and everything. And that thing was like on 20, wait, what? I think it went down to like 46% or something like that. And then I got it down to 26, and that's when I started to charge it at like 5 p.m. because like I was just using that thing nonstop. So you definitely would have to charge it, like, or carry a charger if you're a heavy user like me, because this thing, you can definitely consume a lot of media on it. But you can see these are all the apps that are on here. I did download the Play Store. I did download Chrome. I did download like a bunch of apps. The Messenger Lite, which is definitely pretty cool. So I can definitely like message people from the Facebook Messenger on there. And I definitely downloaded like the Bible, which will definitely be like come in handy. Like if if I just want to look something up real quick, it's like right there. That leather bag was just really just to die for. Like I'm not like literally die for, but like it was definitely like pretty sick. And then I was like, yeah, I seen a lot of people playing like emulators for on this device, like with like different emulators. You can definitely download them on here, but this is just from the Play Store. The classic Sonic game, which was definitely like pretty cool, and it kind of felt really retro. It definitely like brought back like one of the golden ages of game, like um, when the gaming first kicked off. This was like one of the games on the forefront, like. And I remember this one and Mario were just like going back and forth, and like I always wanted to play this one because I always had the Nintendo. Like when I was growing up, I never had like Sega too. Like it was either one or the other, and I think like Nintendo was like cheaper at the time, so I had to get the Nintendo, and I never got a chance to play the Sonic that much. But then when I go over like my friend's house, I'd like get the chance to play the Sonic, which was dope. But this thing definitely played some really nice graphic intensive games. Like this was one of them, Asphalt 8. And the surprising thing was this thing ran and flowed smooth as water. Like literally this game didn't really have one hiccup whatsoever. I literally was surprised like when I was using it, because it outperforms like a lot of the Androids that I actually played this game on with the Snapdragon 801. This thing definitely has some speed to it, so it didn't feel laggy in any sense of the word possible. So I definitely couldn't imagine that this thing would like be bad for like gaming, because like this game was actually one of the most heavy and graphic intensive games like in the past that people used to test games on. But it definitely performed it like with a cinch. Like it was simple, like it was like not hard, and it didn't struggle. It just flowed like water like the whole time. And then if you wanted to play like runners or like download like anything from the Play Store, I definitely was able to download all my favorite games directly from the Play Store after I download the Play Store. It's called The End, and this thing was definitely like really cool, really responsive. You can see the aspect ratio. You had to play it on a smaller aspect ratio, but most of the games that I downloaded, I think this was the only one that actually wait, is there someone yelling in the background? But this was one of the games that actually you had to play it. Well, the only ones, but okay. So like yeah, this thing was definitely pretty cool. I heard that was my brother playing a video game in the background. I thought someone was playing first out. But this was one of the other classic games that I definitely really liked. Crazy Taxi Classic from Dreamcast from the earlier years. I remember when I first started gaming back in 2000, in 99, 1999. This game came out, I think, and I remember getting the Dreamcast for Christmas because like I really wanted the Dreamcast. And I remember when it finally came out, I was like psyched. Like I was really hyped. Some guy has a grass cutter in the backyard, like in the back, so I keep hearing like a saw sound, so I just had to cut the audio. But yeah, the Dreamcast was definitely one of my favorite consoles, and I remember I had got the Sega Game Gear, also the PSP. Check out the review I just did with that phone. Not the Vice, I'm sorry, the PSP, the Sony one. But this handheld, this felt like a handheld gaming device, like one of the like an advanced Game Boy, like. But you know, the BlackBerry Passport definitely had some really a good power and performance, and I definitely thought it was definitely a really good experience. It was just a completely different UI that I was used to using. The OS 10 was just it was really it was nice. It was definitely something that I liked, that I would keep wanting to go back to. Also the BBM services, where you can actually I was talking to my boy and we had like a secure chat, like the government couldn't even hack, like, or a secret agent couldn't get in. I mean, that thing was pretty secure. I'm sure if you're like some geek, like, you know, with enough education, you could probably hack it. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate every last one of you. Make sure you stay locked in for more videos. Hit the bell like icon, subscribe and get notified. And later, crew, stay locked in. Peace. I'll check you guys later. Peace.